Hey guys, how you doing? Figured I'd take you guys along to my workshop today and show you what I'm working on. I have a table here that is, it's a project of mine that I was working on about a year and a half ago or so. And at first it looked really good, but now it's about a year later, the epoxy that I used on it, I guess the stuff that I was using is not very good, and it's just that epoxy that I bought at Home Depot, and it's kind of rubbery, not very good stuff. And so I'm going to attempt to redo this table. I'm going to kind of show you what I'm working with here and show you what I'm doing. Just hang on a second. I'm going to turn this camera around if I can. I guess not. Anyway, if you can see right here, there you go. You can see that. I know that light is kind of glaring on there a little bit. There you go. And here, this epoxy, for some reason, just kind of got all cracked up. And not just that, but this table is warped. So there you go. You can kind of see that, what I'm working with here. But anyway, I'll show you the legs. Kind of built it from scrap lumber from a construction project that I was working on. Here you go. Take a look at that. It's been out, I had it sitting out under my roof for a while, and it got a little weathered. I had it burned. The leg was all nice and burned, just torch burning. And I was going to seal it, never did. So it got weathered, and I'm going to try to redo it and see what happens. See if I can set you guys up here to where you can see. And that's not working. There we go. That way you guys can see what I'm working on here. I got a router sled set up on the table, and I'm going to start shaving away on this table. Here's the first step of this project. I actually didn't mention to you guys, I mentioned that the legs were built from a leftover construction project. Truth of the matter is, this whole entire table was built from leftover materials from a deck that I built. And the cedar and the framing, all of it, was built from a deck that I had. Built from leftover deck materials. And so, but there it is. It's not finished yet. I still have to get these edges right here that I can't reach right now. I'm gonna have to reset my router so that I can plane all of this off. But you can kind of see all this here. Now the goal here is to, this table is kind of warped, so I know you can't see it now because I've already straightened it out, but you know, when you look along it there, it's straight. And that's because of this 1x4 that is screwed to it right now. I used that to straighten it out. The table was actually warped. But so what I was trying to think of, ways to fix it, to try to save this table, because I was really disappointed in the way it turned out and the way the epoxy turned out and everything. And so I came up with this idea, and I'm not sure if it's going to work. I'm going to take you guys along and show you, you know, step by step, and if it works, it works, and if not, then it didn't work. But the idea that I'm having with this is I'm going to kind of follow this concept right here, but instead of using this pine, I'm going to use a piece of oak, a nice straight piece of oak, maybe an inch thick or 5/4 thick, all the way around the rim. And I'm going to use that to get it straightened out, to straighten, you know, force this table to be straight. And then I will take this, I'm thinking maybe 3/4 of an inch or so, because you can see how much I'm shaving off here. I'm really taking off a lot of thickness here on this table here. So it's actually becoming really thin, and I need to find a way to make it thicker. So I think I'm going to put that oak on here and use that oak to straighten it out, to flatten this table out, make it nice and straight. And then I'm going to actually go in and fill this entire table up with epoxy. So it'll have 3/4 inch to an inch of epoxy on top. And I might incorporate some stuff into the table. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of playing it by ear right now. But maybe I'll throw some coins in there. Maybe I'll throw some empty bullet shells in there. Maybe I'll just do this fractional burning. I dropped my mask. This fractional burning, you can see here that I've been working on. If you can see that there. These are for the chairs that are supposed to go with this table. And you can see I have a whole stack of them ready to go here. And that is going to go on these chairs, these metal frames. So, kind of give you an idea of what I'm working with. And those I'm just going to put a clear coat on, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do the fractional burning or electric burning, whatever you want to call it, on this table here. And you know, probably start at a point here in the middle and keep that point there, and then try to get some some burning branches out from each corner, and then fill it up with epoxy like I mentioned before, and see what I can come up with on incorporating something into the epoxy just to make it a little bit neater. I was thinking about using this as a poker table, and so maybe I'll throw some poker chips into it, or maybe some playing cards. I don't really know. Like I said earlier, I'm just kind of playing it by ear and see where it goes. So right now I'm going to reset my jig and get these edges right here finished so that this whole table is nice and flat. You can see there's a ridge there where I took a layer off, and so I'm going to reset my jig, try to get that finished, and then I'll show you the result after that. And I'm going to go ahead and do some fractional burning on it, and I'll show you guys the process on how to do that. So just hang tight. I'm going to reset this. I'm going to reset my jig, and we'll keep going here. Trying to think of how to do this, because these 1x4s are what are keeping this whole thing straight. But I need to put these 1x4s on this side of the table so that I can run my sled across the other way and take off these edges here. But I'm afraid if I take these off, this table is going to get warped again. And then it's going to be a whole different process when I start shaving it. It's going to take a lot more off on one side than on the other side because my jig is straight and the table is warped. So maybe I need to put some bracing underneath it to keep it flat for now, and that way it'll stay straight when I put my jig on it.
So Willie, what happened with milling the table?
So my phone died, and this is my first video, and I have a lot to learn. But I continued to work on the project anyway, so you kind of missed where I finished planing the table off and straightening it out and doing all the fractal burning on it. So I guess that kind of sucks, but anyway, that's all done, and that concludes the first part of this video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next part. Oh, more safety.